Okay, we're going to be talking about information, code, and exactly just how stupid the belief of atheism is, and their double standards. Okay, what is information? Is it substance? Because atheists keep saying, oh, a tree is information, clouds are information, even a rock is information. No, 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 no. This is not information in the context of what biologists are talking about when they speak on the topic of DNA information, or AKA genetic information, or the genetic code. Phrases you'll hear from biologists continually. Even Richard Dawkins, the most famous biologist and atheist. Genetic code, information. Okay, this form of information, true information, is it a substance? No. The information is not the substance. Information is immaterial. Information means nothing and does nothing unless something is there to decode that information, to make sense of that information. If I go to a beach, is the sand on the beach information? No, it isn't telling me anything. I can't decode anything into a set of instructions and then use those instructions to go build something or create something with meaning and purpose. The sand doesn't give me this. This is the kind of information Christians are speaking of. So an atheist uses this stupid excuse, oh, a tree is information, clouds are information, everything is information, the planets, the grass, and the fields, it's all information. They're talking like a stupid idiot, which is a common trait of atheism. When you don't have an answer, just keep talking like an idiot. This is not true, meaningful information. These are things in creation. This is not information. Okay, is the sand information? No, the sand is just sand. It doesn't tell me anything. It's not relaying a message to me. Now, if I take my hand and I arrange the sand by carving in the words, I love pizza, now I have produced information. But this information that I have produced by arranging the sand into letters means nothing on its own. And it does nothing. It means nothing unless there is something to interpret the information. Rather it be artificial intelligence or actual intelligence. And you say, well, why both? What are you talking about? Well, we'll get to that. Let's say an intelligent person comes and walks on the beach. He looks down at the message and he sees, I love pizza. Now, his intelligent brain has now decoded, interpreted the information in the sand and has made sense of it. Now he knows that whoever put that there in the sand loves pizza. Now the information means something because it's been interpreted by a human brain, a conscious being who saw it, interpreted it, and now the information has meaning and his brain has made sense of it. Without an interpretation, the information in the sand means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. It's still information in the sand, but it means nothing without something to interpret it, to make sense of it and make use of it. Now you know the person loves pizza. Again, is the sand the information? No. Again, the sand is, I've added nothing to the sand at all. I'm not taking away any sand. I've not added any sand to the beach. I've done nothing to it. The sand is still unharmed. There's still the same volume of sand, but yet I have created information by what? How did I do that? By arranging the sand into a specific pattern. In this case, the pattern that was arranged in the sand are what we call letters. I arranged I love pizza. But the sand itself was not the information. It was the arrangement that I created within the sand. Ah, now we get to what information, true information, and in the context of genetic information, now we get to the heart of what information really is. It's not a substance, it's an arrangement. Information is always arrangement. I can take a room full of chairs and just, it's a room full of chairs. That means nothing. The chairs aren't telling you anything, but I can arrange the chairs to spell out SOS. Well, now you know somebody needs help for some reason. Okay, now the chairs have produced information. How? Was it the wood of the chairs? Was it the chairs themselves in any way that produced information? No, it wasn't the substance. It wasn't the wood of the chairs. It wasn't the chairs at all. It was no substance to it. It was the arrangement of the chairs. And the same example can be used within rocks on the ground, marbles, change. You can have a handful of pennies. And you can take the pennies and spell out words. Now you've produced information. The information was not the substance of the pennies. It's not the substance of rocks on the ground. It has no substance. It's an immaterial essence. It is arrangement. How things are arranged that creates the information. Now, why did I say this? Well, I say this because when speaking to atheists, they constantly do not know, obviously, or they're playing stupid about what information is. And they'll say, oh, it's not real information, DNA, it's just genetic material. It's just doing what it's doing. It just does what it does. It's just genetic material. Their focus is on the material, genetic. You'll hear this straw man argument from them continually, and this logical fallacy. They're constantly focusing on the substance, the material, instead of what information truly is. Oh, it's just genetic material. It's not information. It's just doing what genetics do and blah, blah, blah. And they just carry on like a nutcase. Because most of them are. Because they don't know what true information is. Because this is a stupid remark. And if an atheist told a qualified, bona fide, top of his game biologist something like this, if he was speaking to a true expert in biology and said, oh, it's not information, it's just genetic material, it's just doing what genetics do and what amino acids do, and it's not information, the biologist would laugh their ass out of the laboratory. It is not the material that is the information, you stupid, dumb atheists. At least the ones who say crap like this. It's not the material, the substance that is the information. It is the arrangement. When things are arranged in a specific sequence, that creates the information. Now, it can create something or tell us something, whatever that information was meant to do. It is an arrangement, a sequence. It is not a substance. The information is not the genetic material. The information is not the amino acids. It is not the proteins. It is not anything. It is the arrangement within DNA that creates the information. I hope that is clear to all the dumb atheists out there listening to this right now that use this excuse. Oh, it's just genetics. It's just genetic material. It just does what it does. That's all it does. It's just aminos and proteins and this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 and done. It just does what it does. Just genetic material. That's all it is. It ain't information. You don't know what you're talking about. Stop! It's not the material. That is the information, dummy. It is the arrangement of things. Let's take for another example, computer code. In this video, I'm going to be comparing DNA information and how it acts with computers because they are identical. We'll get to that in a quick minute here. Okay, let's take a PC program for example. If you looked at the code of a Xbox game, let's say Call of Duty, if you looked at the code, the actual code for Windows 10, you would see crap that wouldn't make sense to you. It's just a bunch of digits, a bunch of characters, letters, numbers, whatever it may be. It's a bunch of characters. That's all it is. Rows and rows and endless rows of them. It wouldn't make sense to you. It would look nuts unless you were a computer programmer. That's all it is. It is not the substance of anything that's creating the information. It is the arrangement of these characters. Specific characters in a specific, precise sequence. And when these characters, the right ones, are in this precise sequence, it creates the information, aka the code. Now your computer can read this code, interpret it, make sense of it, and now it goes to work on doing what this code is instructing it to do. If it's a computer game, the code is read, interpreted, and then the game is put on your screen. It makes the graphics. The instructions from the interpretation of the code, instructions are interpreted, received, and are acted upon. Thus, through the instructions from the code, the game goes on your screen. Or the PC cleaner goes on the screen for PC cleaning software, or your Windows 10 boots up. It's all from instructions, from the code being interpreted. Your computer interprets the code, it has this ability, and then it acts upon these instructions and carries them out. Instructions rule computers. That's how they do what they do. Without instructions, what do you think a computer would do, atheists? Nothing. What chance does life have of creating itself or anything biologically living has a chance of creating itself without instructions? Zero. When's the last time coded instructions have been produced by a non-intelligent mind? Zero. No example of this in human history were coded actual instructions to produce something, build something, or complete specific tasks that have a meaning and a purpose. At no time in history of mankind on planet Earth has these coded instructions, real genuine information here, ever been produced by any non-intelligent process ever in nature or anywhere else by a non-intelligent mind or a non-intelligent process. Not once. Only a mind produces coded information, true, meaningful information. Now, how can this be compared to DNA? Some atheists have told me, oh, don't get stupid, you theist. You can't compare what a computer does to genetics or DNA. That's genetic material, and this is a computer. See, again, they're focusing on the material, the substance. It's not the substance that's the information. It's the arrangement of things that's the information. It's not the substance of the computer. It's what a computer does and how it does it. And it's what DNA does and how it does it. It's not the substance of anything. So get off the substance bullshit, atheists. It's not the substance. What a computer does and how it does it is 100% identical to DNA. DNA has coded instructions. It has things created from the DNA instructions that decode the DNA instructions. The actual things that decode the information is made from the information. So there is a conundrum for you. Which came first? The decoder or the information? To decode the information. The decoder is a product of the information. But anyways, it decodes the information in the DNA into instructions. These instructions are then carried out by the cells. No different than a computer. You got your instructions, they're interpreted, and then the instructions are carried out. A computer does the same identical thing. From what? Arrangements. It's how things are arranged within the DNA helix that create the instructions. It's not the substance. It's not the aminos. It's not, oh, it's just genetic material. It has to do with none of that. It's how things are arranged. When you arrange things in a specific sequence, you create information, a code, which can be interpreted into a set of instructions, and then those instructions carried out. Let's say you have 1,000 workers in a warehouse. They're standing around. They don't know what to do, what to build, how to build it. The manager comes in and he gives them the information. This is what you build. Here's the blueprint. Here's the instructions on how to build it. Now do it. Now they have the knowledge of what to build. They got the instructions how to do it. Now the workers go do it. Well, within a human body, the DNA has the code. The decoders, I'll call them the decoders here. That's not the biological name for them, but some biologists say that because they decode the information. So anyways, you got the information in the DNA, you got the decoders that decode the information into instructions. The instructions are then passed on to the cells. In this case, the cells will represent the workers in the warehouse. And then the cells carry out these instructions and create the human being within the womb of a pregnant woman. We are made of trillions upon trillions of cells. The cells are what create. They create the human being. Cells do nothing without instructions. Nothing. So it's just like a computer. You got your code, it's interpreted to the instructions, and you got your certain things that carry out the instructions and get the tasks done. A computer, same thing. You got your code, they're interpreted, and then the system carries out the tasks. No difference in how they operate. And there is no difference between computer code and DNA code. It's all arrangements of things. Things in a precise sequence that is creating information that can be interpreted into instructions, which can be used at that point to create something. Those instructions in the DNA are interpreted. Those instructions are passed on to the cell carries out the instructions, and something is created. A human being. No difference. Instructions, interpretation, the work gets done. With the computer, instructions, interpretation, the work gets done. Same thing. The code in a game or PC software or anything is simply characters in a precise sequence. You scramble those characters and then try to boot up whatever it is, like a software or a video game. If you get into the code and you start moving these characters around, your game ain't going to work, and your software, whatever computer software it is you're running, is not going to work either. You mess with that code, boom, you're done. Or you get something, some disastrous effects, but it's not going to work. Every character has to be in a specific sequence, and it has to stay there. It's the sequence, like the code of ones and zeros. It's not the ones and zeros that do anything. It's not the substance of the electricity that's doing anything. It's not the substance of the computer chips, the plastic or metal of your PC or or your PC tower that's doing anything. No, it's the arrangements of the characters, the arrangement of the ones and zeros, the specific sequence that they are in. And it creates instructions. Your computer deciphers these instructions and carries out the specific task. That, again, is the information. Arrangements. Digits do nothing if they're not in the proper sequence. What goes on in DNA wouldn't create life at all. No human being would ever be born if things were not in the proper sequence within the DNA. That creates the information, the sequence. Again, let's recap. The DNA isn't the information, it's not the proteins, it ain't the amino acids, it ain't the it ain't the genetic material itself. It is the arrangement within the helix structure that creates meaningful, purposeful information, instructions to create a human being. Now, getting near the end of the video, let's wrap it all up here. How complicated do you think the instructions for Windows 10 would be? I would think pretty complex. If you looked at the code, it would go on and on and on and on and on. Complicated. Imagine this. Every single character, a number or whatever it is, that makes up the code of Windows 10, every single one of them has to be in the precise sequence. And you're talking about endless rows of code. If you could just see the plain code. What do you think the odds are of digits randomly being thrown around to eventually get in the precise sequence absolutely every character in the specific spot where it needs to be to create the Windows 10 operating system? I've asked atheists this and they give me straw men because they know where I'm going and they don't want to face reality. They start suffering from cognitive dissonance. Well, you're going to face it, atheists, if you've made it this far into the video. Thanks for making it this far, but face it this time. The odds are zero that Windows 10 could ever create itself. If something could just throw characters around at random, the odds are zero that you would ever get Windows 10 created by itself in perfect working order like it is now. No atheist has ever said to me that he thinks Windows 10, the actual code, not the computer itself, but the actual program, created itself. No atheist would say this. They tell me I'm crazy for even suggesting such a thing. Really? Think about this. Here comes the double standards from the atheists. They think it's absolutely nuts for you to even suggest that any PC software code could create itself accidentally by pure lottery spin, luck of the draw. They think it's nuts. No atheist ever says this. No atheist believes such a dumb thing. And it is dumb. And they admit it's a dumb thing to even suggest or believe. They know it. They admit it. But, they believe the code which creates a human being billions of times more complex and complicated than any PC software on Earth, on the planet. This code that created life, they believe it did come by accident. It created itself. Get this. They're telling you a code that is so advanced that it creates a conscious, self-aware human being. A living, breathing, intelligent, self-aware, conscious person. Coded itself, created itself by accident. It created itself. But yet, on the other hand, they will tell you that to believe any PC software could create itself is a stupid idea. It's absurd. Stop being ridiculous, you dumb theist. Oh, that could never happen, you dumbass theist. Oh, that's just so silly, you dumb Christian. Really? Listen, I want you people to really grasp the double standard here. It's stupid, ridiculous, you're being a dumb theist for even suggesting that a PC software, any kind, could just create itself accidentally and be in perfect working order. But yet, it's not silly. I repeat, wait a minute. But yet, it's not silly? Hello? It's not silly for the code of life to create itself accidentally from nowhere? Because in the beginning, when there was no intelligence, at least in atheism there wasn't any, brilliant code had to come from nowhere. They believe that's not silly? That's acceptable? But yet a computer program that's at the bottom of the ladder as far as complexity and code can indeed, cannot create itself. No PC software could create itself. That's silly. You're being a dumb, stupid Christian. But DNA code, many, 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 many times over more complicated, could create itself. It's an accident. I want you people to really listen to this double standard here. You think Windows 10 is complicated? How complicated do you think the instructions have to be to create a human being? Something that thinks, feels, is self-aware, and has functions out the ass going on inside. Every organ has to be precise, its function, its placement within the body, the bone structure. Oh my God, the list is endless and endless and endless and endless and endless of instructions that's needed for a human being, a functioning human being, to eventually come out of that womb. The instructions would melt your brain, because just thinking on the activities that go on within a single cell would blow your brain. Micro machinery carrying out tasks and receiving instructions and giving instructions, and oh my God, what goes on in a single cell is mind-boggling crazy. And you're made of trillions of them, not to mention the organs and the blood and on and on and on, ad infinitum, ad nauseum. And the instructions have to create all of this. Everything. It is very, very vast and very, very deep. The instructions needed to create life. Oh, but that just happened. Oh yeah, that's possible. No problem. That was just an accident. It created itself. But the code for a simple Xbox game? Oh no, that couldn't create itself. You're silly, you dumb Christian, even suggesting such a thing. Why not? It's still code. It's still characters in a specific sequence. That's all DNA is. Things in a specific sequence that is creating the instructions. Things in a specific sequence that are creating the instructions for an Xbox game. That's all it is. Things in specific sequences creating the code, which is now interpreted to instructions. The same damn thing. If the arrangements could not come, if the arrangements can come so easily by chance that create the instructions for a human being, then by God, the instructions that create a very simple compared to DNA, a very simple Xbox game could also arrange themselves by accident. And you could have an accidental copy of Call of Duty. Works just fine, plays fine, cheat codes and all. It's the same thing. It's a freaking double standard. Why do atheists deny that a simple, puny code for a PC, and I say simple and puny next to DNA code, why do they deny that could happen by chance, accident, but they accept that the code for life, the instructions for life, could just create themselves by accident, that is an accident? Why is that? Here's the simple answer, and the atheist knows this is the truth. They deny it, but they're only self-deluding themselves. They're self-deluding people. They lie to themselves. But here's the truth, and they'll never admit it. But they know this in the back of their mind when they're sitting at home alone. Deep back in their mind, they maybe have buried it, but they know it's there. And here's the truth right now. The truth is, they can accept a PC code or a video game as needing intelligence to create it. They can accept that. Why? Because in accepting that, it doesn't include it doesn't include God. They don't have to accept an intelligent creator of the universe to accept PC software being created by an intelligence, because the intelligence is just another human being. They have no problem with that. But before human beings existed, if they say a code needed intelligence to be created, now they have to accept God, an intelligent designer of everything in the universe, including life. God is included in the package if they accept the code of life needing an intelligent designer. But you see, God is not included in the package if they accept a game or a software or anything else was designed by intelligence or needs intelligence in order to exist. You see, one includes God, they deny it. The other don't include God, so they accept that it needs intelligence to be created. You see, they pick and choose what to accept based on, here's the key, the golden ticket, based on whether or not God comes with the package deal. You see, they're picking and choosing when to accept code needs a mind and when to accept a code doesn't need a mind, based on whether or not God is included. If they have to accept an intelligent designer of the universe, nope, it's out. Nope, now the code just created itself. Oh yeah, it created itself, man, no problem. But if God is not included, oh, no way, man, could that come by itself. Oh, no way, man. No way, man, could that be an accident. No way. A mind has to create something like that. It is needed to create that code for that game. A mind is needed to create that PC cleaning software. No way, man, could that be an accident. With the code of life, because God comes into the picture, oh, man, no mind is needed, no intelligence needed. Oh, man, just gigabytes and gigabytes of information. Oh, no biggie, man. That can create itself, man. Ain't no big thing, dude. Oh, no problem, man. A conscious, self-aware human being, as complex as we are, no problem. Accidental, man. No intelligence needed, dude. No big deal, man. But PC software, because God isn't included, oh, no, man. Needs a mind. Got to have an intelligent designer for that. Double standards. Information destroys atheism. No set of coded instructions that can be no set of coded information that can be interpreted into a set of instructions that can then be used to create something complex with meaning and purpose has ever come about by anything other than a conscious, intelligent mind. Not once. Atheism destroyed. Information destroys atheism. And their double standards just don't work. If a PC code has to have a mind to create it, and they think it's absurd to even suggest that it could come by accident, then the DNA code absolutely needs a mind because it's more complex than any PC software on the planet. What goes on in a human body is more complex and more deep than what goes on inside of the world's most technologically advanced supercomputer. So you can't think one is an accident and the other's not, because one doesn't include God and the other one does. That's all it is. They're trying to avoid God. But their stupid arguments aside, information destroys atheism. Now, if you've made it this far into my longest video so far, thanks for listening, and I will be prepared for more of the same straw man arguments, accusations, personal attacks, everybody avoiding the video topic. I'm ready. Go ahead. Start your stupid comments.